Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 27th of November. So, what we got in store today then? Well, there's not a lot. It's Thanksgiving today, so happy Thanksgiving to our US friends. And aside of that, there's nothing. So, it's going to affect these markets today. So, we're left to our own devices. Markets will be very quiet today, particularly in the afternoon, and it does have a knock-on effect till tomorrow often. Although the markets reopen, it's quite often a sluggish old day, but we'll see. Let's not discount it yet. Right, let's take the day off. So, what's happening today then? Right, there's no news to show you. Obviously, we had the UK budget details out yesterday, which ticking time bomb we decided effectively. Anyway, markets don't dislike them particularly. They've got away with it on the basis of getting in more tax to keep a better little cushion against unexpected claims. And there we go. Right, let's get on and look at these markets. So the euro had been going up, looking a little bit bitty this morning. It's a bit of an ugly old day. I mean, yesterday everything picked up there. Let's just turn this back to an hourly here. Picked up there in the afternoon. We got a bit of a helping hand, I don't know, but anyway, things picked up there in the afternoon anyway. Whatever changed things. Well, I was looking at it in the morning. I was actually, the reason I had a 30-minute chart, and I was looking to see if we got anything come in the morning from where it was. I was realizing I was getting a little bit over negative on the whole side of things, and I was looking, well, what are the upside chances? And at that point, we'd come down and we'd tested the 50. I wondered what the 30-minute 50. I wonder what was holding things up, and it held there, did nothing for hours. I mean, crikey. Then it just consolidated, made it look very unattractive, and well, it literally moved the depth of this move to the downside there. So the little wedge effectively worked its way out there. Anyway, that was that. Non-tradable for me today. What I'm looking at again, it hasn't caught its R1 yet. There's a possibility of that being hit at some stage without being too negative. I'd like to see it come back post 8 o'clock into the pivot there, touch the pivot and get a bounce and get back above its 30-minute 50 I've got on here, but I'd like to see that just come back off a little bit more. We'll see how things shape up there, but not in any rush to take anything quite yet. Someone mentioned yesterday in the trading room there, you seem quite relaxed about these markets. You're not dashing into anything, and I am, because I make more money being relaxed on the markets. It's just not worth trying to get all these little trades that you end up overall losing money on them, and you've taken a lot of effort. For some people, the psychological side of things isn't great either. Anyway, and they don't make any more money, so you're better off trading less, making more money, and just picking the absolute goers. Don't trade for trading's sake. Right, enough of that. Looking at these markets then, and looking at the pound. Well, the pound, as I say, the markets didn't dislike the idea of holding a buffer of cash. That was the main sort of saviour from a financial perspective. Looking at where we are now, again, a move off the daily pivot, if it was to get down there, is a potential opportunity. Ugly around the budget itself, but there wasn't anything that from a city point of view was particularly negative. It's not good for the economy overall, longer term, but there we are. Anyway, rolling on. Nothing there then immediately. The yen, we've been seeing reasonable moves on this, but it's struggling. It's got its lower highs, well, a lower high in there. We're just in this sort of bit more of a penalty sort of pattern at the moment. It's not looking so sweet, although there's the scope to come down here, but it's just so consolidated. It's looking for the drivers in these markets to get something something more. The only thing is you've got to be a bit careful you don't get sort of blinded by, and not take anything or see anything at all. Yet on the bigger time frame here, it has been coming off here. So it's, as I say, at the break of these lows here, it's become more bearish. But yet to see much coming from it, to be fair, from that signal anyway. Aussie dollar. Well, the Aussie dollar still working its way back to the upside there. Higher lows coming through on the 4-hourly. Opportunities, well, today maybe if it breaks the R1, the R2's got a better probability now to be hit than the pivot itself. So a break back above the R1 to the R2 is a possible. We've certainly got it in range, as there's potential there. Canadian dollar, well, we've seen this, as I say, affected by its previous highs there, coming off a bit again now. It managed to put a lower high in there yesterday on the intermediate time frames here. It's looking like it's running down towards its monthly S1 now. Sorry, weekly S1. Shorter time frame. There you go. There's quite a big correction there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Dollar weakening. Bit lackluster where it sits here at the moment. Need to look at that midday-ish. Still got data missing off here. This New Zealand, it did actually, there was prices. I need to speak to Trade Nation, see, make sure they're aware of the data missing. Anyway, from where it's sitting at the moment, it's really following the Aussie to some degree. I'd rather trade the Aussie than the New Zealand. New Zealand economy is a little bit flawed still. US dollar Swissy. We're ranging here still on this. A break back down below the lows here would be positive for the Swissy. It would be a short for the US dollar aspect of it. We'll see how that flies. Not particularly good. Of all these so far, these majors, the Aussie looks like the better opportunity if it can get up there. Cross pairs Euro Yen. Well, the overall charge of this is still largely to the upside, but it's getting messy on the shorter time frames now. Whereas before we had these nice clean trends largely, now we've got these retracements, and they're quite frequent and quite big, and quite ugly as it sits again at the moment. So it's getting into that ugly scene. Okay, best left alone then. Okay, not going to go right through the cross pairs at the moment. Gold, let's have a quick look at gold. It's down fractional this morning on its open, but overall the pictures still, it managed a positive day yesterday. It is erring its way back again, but it's quite ugly from an intraday. If you're trying to make money on this intraday wise, it's just not happening, is it? It's just horrible. Just a horrible market to be trying to trade into. You could get lucky, but you're more just as likely to get unlucky. Right, that's gold. The equity markets, S&Ps. Well, we've seen this sort of shove to the upside. There's again data missing, I believe, on this. Just check here. Yeah, went from 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Yeah, there's a chunk missing out there on there as well, so it's still chunking out, but it's still pushing back up there. It's erring to the upside, but today I expect it to be quite flat. It's quite ugly, the overall price action we're seeing there. Right, the FTSE, as I say, there's data missing on those markets on here. FTSE picking up again. Again, data missing there. Break of the R1 here would be maybe a positive point if it can push back up there. Overall positivity coming through post budget there. Bounce off of today's pivot might be an opportunity, an alternative opportunity. Looking at things, there we go, DAX finally, and finally the DAX. So it's managed a couple of up days now together. That's a rally for the DAX of late. Still erring on the upside. Liked it again. Like to see them getting back into its pivot and seeing what sort of reaction it has to that. Okay, so not a great deal overall this morning. Possibly that Aussie dollar is. We'll see how that shapes up post 8 o'clock. On the break of the R1 towards the R2, we'll see what happens. Right. Okay, I shall leave you there. Have a good Thanksgiving. If you're going to take the day off, I don't blame you. I will speak to you tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye for now.